There. Welcome to SportsBalls by PVN. I'm Austin, I'm your host. You can follow me on Twitter. We are Ronan47. Um, and since you're here, like, subscribe, hit the notifications, all that bullshit. Did I cuss too early? I don't know. But yeah. Um, so we're gonna do first half rundown on hit some topics, and then take a. We're in the pregame right now, and hit a halftime. Try to laugh, and we're gonna finish off today the second half with looking into the Rooney Rule a little bit, and it's uh, not abandoned, I guess abandonment, but yeah. And then we're gonna finish up the post game and maybe go to the Waffle House. So all right, here we go. Ah, look at that. And I still am looking for my notes. There they go. All right. So I had some other episodes scheduled. Had one scheduled for Pride. Uh, watched like 12 hours of videos at double speed. Did not get to air. And then did the same with the 4th of July. So, but we're going to tie back into some Pride stuff. But, basic stuff on Pride is, sports is queer, just like humanity. And everything's on a spectrum to include sports. So we're going to not just look at the NFL and NBA here. So, I did have a puzzling article I was going to read. Yeah, believe it. So with that, fuck the binary and let's talk about the win-loss column, right? Fuck ties. Sorry. But yeah, starting off with the rundown. Good news, bad news. We're going to read here that Megan Rapinoe is retiring for one, and she's one of the signatories on a letter in support against legislation to create more boxes. I don't know, less boxes. But she says, I see trans women as real women when referring to them being taking the field altogether. So we're going to read real quick. Megan Rapinoe, and this is from Fox News. Why am I on Fox News? I don't know. Fox Sports News. Oh, this is Fox News. Well, I know why I'm on Fox News. I wanted to see what the hell they'd say. Megan Rapinoe has been Rapinoe. God, no, my accent. I know I just hurt some people. Oh. Shout out where? Pilgrim. All over, eyes everywhere. And always on point with their statements. Shout out where, nice to see you. Thanks for coming. So, Ms. Rapinoe has been a public advocate for the inclusion of transgender athletes in women's sports. Let's share the screen real quick. There we go. For the inclusion of transgender athletes in women's sports. ahead of what will be her final World Cup appearance before retiring. The one-time Golden Boot winner said she would absolutely support having a trans woman on the U.S. women's soccer team, even if that meant replacing a biological female. In an interview with Time published Monday, Rapinoe recalled highlights from her lengthy career, including her battles both on and off the pitch. She was asked specifically about her push to defend transgender athletes' participation in women's sports. We, as a country, are trying to legislate away people's full humanity, she told the outlet. Rapinoe was one of 40 athletes to co-sign a letter to House lawmakers in April in opposition to the Protection of Girls and Women in Sports Act, arguing that the bill would exclude women and girls from getting mental and physical health benefits. It's particularly frustrating when women's sports is weaponized. I'm going to stop right here real quick. They weaponize everything, y'all. Remember that. They certainly do. Rapinoe said in the interview, "Oh, now we care about fairness. Now we care about women's sports. That's total bullshit. And now me, all the trans people who are nefariously taking advantage of being in trans in sports, it's just not happening." Right. So that plays into the myths they create. For instance, I think it's something like the gender therapy and going back. It's something on the order of 0.03% of people end up having some issues. That I hate that for them, but I can't really say that's super significant. Can you? Exactly. So they feed us lies about each other, and then we fight, and then they make money. So if you'd like to finish reading the article, you're welcome to. But if you, and that's part of the rundown today, is I want to mention that the Women's World Cup is coming up. I believe it starts July 20th. New team captain, Horn. Say y'all check out. I think there's a friendly the other day. And yeah. So a little next. Let's get that off the screen, I guess. There's my big head. All right. 4th of July. Oh, yeah. So real quick on 4th of July, I'm going to thank Jana. John, how does he say that? China. I want to thank China for the munitions this year. I hope Mr. Macron is enjoying them as well. Shout out Bastille Day coming up. And good luck to all the protesters in France out there. So yeah, so we're gonna go on. Here we go. The WNBA is going on. It's about midway through the season. The Las Vegas Aces, they are tearing it up. Just had somebody drop 40, I think last night. And the All-Star game is coming up, and I wanted to do a couple things. So let's see here. See if I can do it right. Oh, I wanted to show this real quick.
Like a double whammy. You're not particularly great on the offensive glass, but yet getting a bunch of transition points.
Susie, she's back. Good for her. Good for her. Brittany Griner's back. I'm sure she's on this all-star team. So yeah, we're gonna check out this all-star team real quick. Here we go. So that's what I'd say. I see the mates. We got Asia Wilson. I see. This is where I've messed up. I didn't read all these names first because I'm not a professional. You remember that. Asia Wilson, Las Vegas Aces. Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, all from the Aces. Enrique Ogunbowale, Dallas Wings. Seto Sabale, Dallas Wings. Brianna Stewart, Liberty. I think and Brittany Griner, Mercury. I know that name. Aaliyah, Boston, Indiana Fever, Jewel Lloyd, Seattle Storm, Nika Ogwumike, LA Sparks, and we got the reserves Alyssa Thomas, Dewana Bonner, both from the Connecticut Sun, Elena Del Don, Washington Mystics, Nafisa Collier, Minnesota Lynx, Easy Magbegor, Seattle Storm, Cheyenne Parker, Atlanta Dream, Alicia Gray, Atlanta Dream, Kalia Cooper, Chicago Sky, Kelsey Plum, Las Vegas Aces, Sabrina Ionescu, New York Liberty, Courtney Vandersloot, New York Liberty, Kelsey Mitchell, Indiana Fever. All right. So, look at that real quick.
A great team effort. Everyone played their butt off in that win against the Mystics on Sunday. Carrington. Her father was a safety in the NFL.
You know, starting and stopping speed. Very acceleration, deceleration, yeah, physics. A really good skill in sports. All right. I think that was the highlights of the WNBA stuff I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so we're going to move on to NBA real quick. So first off, I didn't realize daggum the damn NBA is just about 12 months a year, ain't it? Because the summer league started and number one pick, Victor Wembanyama. See, Wemby. Yeah, he was a little windy in his first game with some air balls, but I think he's going to be okay, y'all. I think he's going to be okay. In the first game, he played against Brandon Miller, who's not. I'm sorry, not his first game, but their first game played together against each other was number 2 pick Miller from Alabama, who's playing with the Hornets. And, Hornets, they just, if I recall, they just Jordan was an owner. Michael Jordan was an owner there, and I think he just recently got rid of his ownership stake. So I believe the league is now no minority owners in the league. We'll be getting to that a little bit with the Rooney Rule. The fact that I think there's 2 minority rulers. Minority, we're ruled by the minority in this country. But we'll get to the 2 owners also in the minority in the NFL as owners. Wow. I hope that made no sense because it sure didn't to me. But with that, in honor of Mr. Wemby, I wanted to take a look at, let's see here. Here it is. Oh, no. Where'd you go? Oh, man. Look at that. All right. Well, Ah, okay. Yes. So, in honor of France and Bastille Day, we're going to learn just a touch of. I could not find much, but when you play basketball, you better be able to talk some shit, a little bit, a little bit. And we got Arrêtez de la piété, I guess. Again, let me do it in like an Alabama style. Arrêtez de la piété. But that is basically, stop showing off. We got another one over here. Je me casse. Means I'm out of here. Laissez tomber. Let it drop it. And sans deck. No joke. Like sans blague. Any fans of Princess Bride out there, and then qua, just dropping a qua at the end. So now you can go out this week and just start dropping quas on everything you do. Yeah. So there's a little slang. Bastille Day, Wemby, NBA Summer League, draft, and yeah. So with that, we're gonna move on to baseball. A few things happened the past couple weeks. There's a perfect game a couple weeks ago. I think it was the 25th ever. And then the Detroit, they threw a no-hitter a couple last week. And the All-Stars have been selected, and the draft came yesterday, the MLB draft, which has I think it still has 147 rounds. I'm not exactly sure, but LSU went 1-2. A couple players who they also won the championship this year, and the NCAA baseball championship, and then I believe Oklahoma won their third straight softball. So yeah, and I was going to take a moment and read a little bit on the draft. And no, I'm not. That's not what I meant. I take that back. I'm not reading nothing on the draft. You can look up the draft. Oh, I wanted to read the All-Stars out. But I just tried that with the WNBA, and that was painful. I'm not gonna lie, that was painful. Reading a sentence in a list, hey, maybe it's better to put the list up there and just talk about the list. Let's try that. How about that? There's the list. Oh. Here we go. All right. I'm going to pop that up there. All right. Of course. If you don't know who Otani is, he is effectively Babe Ruth, but probably better. Probably better. Yeah, he's a two-way player, and plays with the Angels with Mike Trout, who is Seriously, on how they haven't won nothing together yet. But Mike Trout, I think he just broke a bone in his hand, fouling a ball off in his left hand. But yeah, a couple of teammates. I hope to see them play this year in Atlanta. Fingers crossed. I should probably buy a ticket now, but yeah, you got bills to pay first, right? So here we go. We got the American League starters. Several from Texas, and I think you'll see on the other side, we'll see several from the Braves. Jonah Heim at catcher. But the DH, there we go. DH right there. That's the man you want to watch this game for. Hopefully he puts on a show. And, of course, home run derby and whatnot. Oh, goodness. Is that tonight? Well, goodness. Maybe I should have done a live stream of that and ate popcorn. Moving on down. We got the National League right here, and you'll see got a couple of Atlanta players. Murphy, Orlando Arcia, and, of course, Ronald Acuna Jr. Acuna's maybe the National League's Trout. Nobody's Ohtani. And then we got Freddie Freeman up here, who used to play with the Braves. So in this case, I'm going to count him as a Brave, former Brave. Just joking. I hope he seems to be doing well out there. And he played extremely well for Atlanta. Now we'll take a look at the pitchers real quick. Look at that. And like I said again, Mr. Ohtani. So, rundown. A couple Baltimore pitchers. And a couple Minnesota pitchers. All right. So let's read here. Ohtani, voted the AL's designated hitter for the third time in his career, was again selected by the players as a pitcher, also for the third time. That should count as 6, right? That's 6. That's 6. The right-hander has so many ways to attack hitters and continues to rack up strikeouts while remaining one of the most difficult pitchers in the majors to hit. Joining Ohtani, in part, are the staff's leaders in career all-star selections. Cole with 6 and 2 pitchers who represent the hometown Mariners, Castillo and Kirby. All right. Here we got some National League. And you can tell I'm a homer for the Braves, right? But we got a couple Chicago pitchers. We got couple Pittsburgh. Got Clayton Kershaw, big name. Spencer Strider, Kimbrel again. Yeah. So yeah, that's I'll let y'all pick. I'll let y'all find the reserves on your own. And yeah, tonight 8 Eastern, where is that? That's DC, ain't it? 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. Sure. There we go. Home run challenge tonight. All right. So, and I believe that's going to bring us to halftime real quick. Unless I'm missing something. There's a few more things that happened. UFC 290, a whole lot of knockouts. You can find those mixtapes real quick on Twitter for sure. Live Golf. There's some stuff going on with Live Golf, and I'll just put it simply. Shit, I think all golfers are spies now. Yeah, but soccer. We talked about the women's team, the men's team. They're in the Kincafa Gold Cup tournament. They made it into the semi. I think are they playing Jamaica? Let's double check real quick. Yes, men's soccer. Want to misinform y'all. Yeah, they played Canada, and I think it's an over. But next game. Okay. United States men's national team avoided an early Concacaf Gold Cup exit with a penalty shootout win against Canada to advance to semis. After playing to a 2-2 draw to the first 120, including a pair of goals in extra time, Jesus Ferreira's penalty to put the U.S. up 3-2 proved to be the winner after Canada's fifth kicker, Charles Andreas Brim, hit to crossbar to end the game. All right, so the Americans will play Panama, which beat Qatar 4-0 on Saturday in the semifinal. So, hey, that's good luck to the men's team on Saturday against Panama. And in Europe, the under 21 European team men's, it was won by England, which I think it was the third time they've ever done that, and like the first time in 40 years or something. So good things ahead. That could be a World Cup team soon, you know. So all right, and one thing I wish I was such a good speech writer or something, but Mark Ingram retired, and Roll Tide, y'all. He came to Alabama when Saban got there and really helped he put the program on his shoulders, pretty literally, with that. And so, yeah, he's retiring and going into broadcasting. Shout out Ingram. Just tough as nails, and just grinding them legs. So, but he is going to Fox. So right before we get to halftime, I was going to say we're wanting to look at all kinds of sports and whatnot. I saw some cowboy shooting competition, esports, wrestling, poker, all that underwater Rubik's Cube records. So anything and everything we're willing to take a look at. And if you got some ideas, let us know. Oh, hey, Andrew. Thank you for being here, bro. It's nice to see y'all. And keep chugging along. I try to watch y'all every time I can. Let's see here. All right. Where are we at? Oh. So, sports related. Before we get to halftime, actually, fuck it. We're at halftime. Where'd you go? There we go. So we're going to start off halftime with some good news, some very good news. Larry Nassar has been stabbed in an altercation in a federal prison. Good. Good. Yeah, we're going to go with good. And if you don't know who he is, we'll read real quick and move on to something else. But yeah, he's been stabbed in prison, and the corruption in the Olympic gymnastics organization allowed this, and this is stuff that's repeated in other organizations all over the world. Fuck the patriarchy and fuck all them nasty motherfuckers out there doing this shit. Hope you get stabbed again, you cunt. And now, here's what halftime's really about. Let's get to it. This is what we're trying to show what halftime is really about. Oh my goodness. This brought my old ass joy, but it hurt my back. You know, ain't no real sound with it apparently. Damn. Oh, he passed him open. Look at no look. Whoop. Yo, he can't jump over grass, but look at that ass. What was that? I have not seen that pass before. I'm gonna have to steal that one and just like automatic. Whoop. Shoulder shimmy. Yo, drop a dime, drop a three. Pop! You didn't think he was going to do it, did you? You didn't think he was going to do it. I can't do that. I don't think I've ever blocked anybody on a basketball court. I have definitely knocked people over, though. Definitely did that. All right. So, yeah. That's your halftime. Sometimes it'll be longer. Sometimes it'll be shorter. And we're going to get to the Rooney Rule right now. All right. So I'm going to read a little bit, give a little bit of context, a little bit of history, and then some of my thoughts. Oh, no. Did I just lose all my notes? Oh, they're right there. See, I need better medicine. All right. And real quick, I'd like to say shout out the Punch Up Pod. If y'all ever get a chance out there to look them up, please do. They're great, and they really make me laugh, and they're a great way to get some news and have a nice time. So y'all check that out. Punch Up Pod, Pat and Leela. All right, Lila. Shit, I'm confusing myself. All right, and yeah, and I'm gonna count him as the underdog of the week because, come on now, you see him. If you would not pick his ass, don't tell me you would. You would not pick his ass on a Shirts and Skins. Shit, I want to see him play some skins up. Let's do that. All right. Here we go. What did I miss? Did I miss anything? Into it. Second half. And we're going to start. We got several articles. So what we're gonna take a look at first here is an article from a couple years ago. Just skirt through it. Wait, yeah, not a couple years ago, a year ago. And this is from NPR. Why a 20-year effort by the NFL hasn't led to minorities in top coaching jobs. And they go into why, and this stems from a lawsuit brought by Brian Flores. So let's read a little bit. and just so you understand, so the Rooney Rule, the context, right, y'all? The Rooney Rule is a rule that was implemented by the owner from like a diversity committee, the owner of Pittsburgh Steelers. His last name was Rooney. Yeah. And I'm going to read here from Wiki. The Rooney Rule is an NFL policy that requires league teams to interview ethnic minority candidates for head coaching and senior football operations jobs. So 2 categories. It is an example of affirmative action, which just got dropped by, who's that? Those, I don't even know what the fuck to call them. Corrupt ass Supreme Court billionaire. Oh, let me read. Affirmative action, even though before 2022 there was no hiring quota or hiring preference given to minorities, only an interviewing quota. The first actual hiring quota was established before the 2022 season, mandating that at least one member of each team's offensive coaching staff must be either an ethnic minority or a woman. The Rooney Rule was established in 2003, and variations of the rule are now in place in other industries. So this is how these things start, right? Somebody gets an idea, and that's what, to me, that's what the Rooney Rule was. It was just like an incomplete thought in a manner, almost. So yeah, that's the Rooney Rule. History: Dan Rooney, owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and for a moment it worked. The Rooney Rule worked, but what it really worked at, it got a couple coaches hired, and since the rule was instated, the average coach amount has been about 18% black coaches or ethnic minority or women. And however, like 60-70% of the league is black folks. So you would think that 60-70% of the coaches somewhere in there would be BIPOC, whatever. And it's not the case. Why is it not the case? Well, we'll get to that. But basically, it's not the case because the NFL is not really accountable to anybody. And there, with that, not just the NFL, but the owners aren't really accountable for anything, because the NFL doesn't operate like a corporation and all this. And, up until a couple of years ago, it was set a nonprofit, like a church. Y'all gonna have to excuse if my glasses fall off my face. So, yeah. So here we are. So the oligarchs run the show. Rooney Rule was created, half-assed, and it got a couple coaches some jobs and opportunities and stuff for sure, and but it really is only worked as like an information campaign, and like it said there, it's been adopted in other industries now. So here we read. Spurred on by the Pittsburgh Steelers, Dan Rooney, the team's owner and longtime blah blah. Just trying to get to some relevant information. So yeah, here we go. On average, 18% of coaches have been people of color since 2011. So at a high of 25% in 2011, that's so a quarter of coaches. But here, this is what I wanted to read from this NPR article. This is from Doug Williams. If you don't know who Doug Williams is, look him up. Awesome quarterback. First African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, this is back in the 80s. But it's not the rule that's not working. It's the people, says Williams, who is now senior advisor to the Washington Commanders. It's not just football. It's America as a whole. Now, I would go further to say it's the world as a whole. You know, we certainly, you know, and I'm sure overseas, everybody else is doing it too, and say, oh, it's not, it's whatever country they may be in. When we got to think bigger than that. Yeah, we got to think World Cup big, right? So Williams and others say they are tired of watching good, qualified head coaches, candidates of color passed over year after year. So take Eric Bieniemy. He spent 8 years as an NFL running back in the 90s. He played for the Chargers. Loved him. He was awesome. Offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. Y'all know the Chiefs, them Super Bowl winning Chiefs. Yeah. Chiefs lost by 3 points in overtime to Super Bowl bound Cincinnati Bengals. The Chiefs win would have had the team playing for a championship for the third time in as many years. Yet, in nearly a dozen interviews across the league over the past few years, Bieniemy hasn't managed to garner a head coaching position. Now, this league that's all about offense and whatnot, clearly, I mean, he does have Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes can't do nothing by himself. Yeah. Remember that. So, yeah. And we'll mention a book here, John Feinstein, author of Raise a Fist, Take a Knee, Race and the Illusion of Progress in Modern Sports, tells NPR, Bieniemy told him, some of those guys were legitimately looking at me as a possible head coach. Other guys were just, you know, carrying out their Rooney Rule obligations. And you can tell when you walk into the room which is which. Because people ain't stupid. You know. At least not most of them. Seems we got a minority of stupid people that run shit. All right. So with that little point, so the NFL only has 2 owners of color. Kim Pegula, who is Asian American and co-owns the Buffalo Bills with her billionaire husband, and Jacksonville Jaguars owner Shahid Khan, who was born in Pakistan. Many of the owners simply perceive a white coach as a safe choice. I don't think there's a single NFL owner out there who thinks to himself, I won't hire somebody who's black. Balsam tells NPR. But there are risk-averse owners, she concedes. Risk-averse owners. Oh, man. So, yeah, risk-averse owners. That's a good way to, that's an interesting way to say, that's corporate speak for racists. There we go. Risk-averse owners. When it comes to hiring at the senior most levels, they tend to revert to what they're comfortable with, and they perceive hiring somebody who's black as risky. To be sure, the current record on minority hires for the top coaching job is a low watermark for the league. Things were better at the end of 2010-2011 season, and again in 2017-18. So, with that, so the Rooney Rule was tweaked and expanded since it was introduced. They do some more stuff, right? Now it requires teams to interview at least 2 external minority candidates for head coaching jobs and 1 external minority candidate for offensive and defensive positions. After much discussion, a provision was also approved that grants teams who hire minority candidates a pair of future third-round draft picks, and owners agreed to eliminate clauses that prevented coordinators already under contract from interviewing for head coaching jobs with other teams. Top front office jobs such as general manager were also included. The commissioner has wide latitude. All right, so I'm going to switch over to this Fox News article. And we're going to finish up with an article from USA Today. So, DeMaurice Smith, we'll read here. DeMaurice Smith is entering his final days as the NFL Players Association executive director after 14 years in the position following the election of Lloyd Howell to succeed him. But Smith isn't leaving without one last battle with NFL owners. In a 100-page paper, which Yahoo Sports obtained, Smith and Carl Lasker, a Yale law student and teaching assistant to Smith, called his teaching assistant. Damn, man, you got a student. He's teaching law. All right. It's always lawyers that get up in these positions here. Don't know why. Called for the Rooney Rule to be eliminated because they believe it's failed to serve its purpose. The Rooney Rule was deemed a failure by Smith and Lasker, but many others have said the same thing over its 20 years in existence. The rule was put in place. We've gone over that. Okay. The system is broken from inside and outside, and in any effort to affect it that didn't obligate NFL owners to adherence or reform was doomed from the start. They also viewed the Supreme Court's ruling on affirmative action no longer being used in private and public colleges across the country as something that could impact the NFL down the road. The reality of its possible impacts beyond the specifics of that case is troubling. The need, therefore, for fair, equitable, and lawful hiring practice in the NFL can never be greater, and the necessity of government investigation and oversight, as well as the enforcement of equitable hiring practices, has never been more necessary. I don't know what the hell I just read. So, Smith and Lasker made 12 recommendations, and then they don't list the recommendations, but whatever. But we're going to read on real quick. They included changing the hiring system to require jobs to be specific jobs descriptions and held open for at least 30 days. Some basic thing. I don't know. Adopting a consistent and transparent system by which all teams must comply with respect to hiring and retention, and eliminating the need for coaches to seek permission from teams to apply for jobs with other organizations, among others. There was also a survey that was conducted by the NFLPA last year with 65 current and former NFL coaches of color, showing clearly how they feel about their representation in major positions across the league. There were 47 responses among the 65, and it showed 92% of them believe more transparency was needed in the hiring process. 90% believe race plays a role in hiring coaches, and 90% said federal statutes prohibiting discrimination are not observed or obeyed in hiring practices. I think Andrew just told me that the home run derby is tomorrow. All right, the NFL system is broken, Smith and Lasker wrote. To fix it, owners need to abandon the Rooney Rule and replace their unchecked discretion with comprehensive requirements to eliminate discrimination, ensure fairness, improve diversity, and build an equitable and transparent and accountable system. That certainly sounds nice. That should be done. Yeah. Smith and Lasker believe there's no better time than now with the league seeing a shift in representation. The NFL is facing a crossroads. Its senior leadership will change in the next 5 years. The issue of the lack of front office and coaching diversity was inherited by some, and the future offers an opportunity to make major decisions to resolve these long-standing egregious issues. Yeah. So heading into the 2023 season, the only black head coaches are the Pittsburgh Steelers' Mike Tomlin, Tampa Bay Buccaneers' Todd Bowles, and the Houston Texans' DeMeco Ryans. Go DeMeco. All right. Read that one. And we're going to jump over to one last little, because I wanted to, they didn't list what the recommendations were in the paper. So, yeah, we're going to look at one last little bit. Here we go. All right. So let me scroll back up. Here we go. Mike Freeman, his opinion piece. Maurice Smith wants to axe NFL's Rooney Rule. Here's why his plan is flawed. So, Maurice Smith has long been one of the smartest people in sports, and a plan he's devised to improve racial hiring in the NFL is, not surprisingly, brilliant. It's what you'd expect from him. Smith is the outgoing executive director of the NFL Players Association. That's their union, by the way. And he's co-authored an article that will appear in the Yale Law and Policy Review. Oh, man. Who's going to look that up with me? That sounds fun. So here we go. Number 1, discard the Rooney Rule. 2, improve the system of hiring and retention. I love these high-level, orders, directives, suggestions. Improve the system of hiring and retention. Get rid of the rules that require coaches to get permission from owners on their current team to apply for future jobs. Use an outside firm to audit the hiring process of teams. Develop job descriptions for all key positions, such as CEO, general manager, or head coach. Hey, man, they ain't got no job descriptions. Woo. Punish teams that don't comply with the initiatives. Use consistent evaluation guidelines. Develop rules that stop nepotism. Did you know some of these coaches they were golfers? That's like they might have played like in high school or something, but like all right. Have key jobs posted and held open for 30 days. Use programs to help coaches get experience. Use league resources to pre-screen candidates so qualified ones can't be ignored. Back unionizing for coaching. All smart stuff. Typical of Smith. The problem? His plan won't work. It would fail in the same way that Smith says the Rooney Rule does. The reason? You can't fix people's hearts. Go back to Doug Williams, working with Commanders. Dan fucking Snyder. Should look up that piece of shit. But he's a billionaire. What do you expect? The reason you can't fix people's hearts. No number of rules or threats will make owners hire a person of color if they don't want to. Racism ain't afraid of no fines. These rules don't work properly because people don't work properly. You can't fix this problem until you fix people. A racist owner can't say publicly that he or she won't hire a black head coach. That would be both disgraceful and illegal. But a racist owner can do is just say he prefers another coach who happens to be white over a black candidate. The Rooney Rule or the Smith rules do nothing to stop this because it can't be stopped. It's true that laws help repair the damage that racists cause, and laws are protective measures. Laws can work, but the Rooney Rule and the Smith rules aren't laws. They're accountability. The rules are more like suggestions. And I promise you, any owner or executive, if they don't want to hire a black head coach, for example, can get around Smith's rules as easily as they do the Rooney ones. Lawsuits can potentially change things, but they can take years. And because the NFL is often highly successful at burying them in its secretive arbitration process, a process that heavily favors the league, they don't have much impact. So we're going to read this quote. No, we get it here. This is what we want. The NFL faces no governmental accountability. Y'all hear that? The NFL faces no governmental accountability or any regulatory pressure of any kind to repair the racial imbalance inside the league. Without those things, there's no reason for the NFL to take more stringent measures. So yes, what Smith has composed is a brilliant document, and like him, it's got intellectual heft. But it can't do something that's sorely needed: fix people. So yeah, there it is. And they're right. The government, the NFL owners have their, I don't know, something like a big piece of land that they have everybody working on. Yeah. And somebody comes, lawman comes and says, hey, you need to not do that to people. They go, well, who says? So they can do anything they want on their taxpayer funded $1 billion stadiums and all the rest. Unaccountable to not, they're accountable to no one. And this is this is what the issue is, folks. Eat the rich. Yeah. So let's figure out how to buy a football team. You know, one of the first teams, Giants, the Rooneys, I guess, no, the Maras, my bad. Maras bought it for like $500. And if you look back, there was the first black coach was back in Fritz Pollard back in like 1925. But then the that was also a time period where, and they still do, try to remove success from BIPOC folks, black folks, and stymie them over and over and over again. So yeah. And I believe we're gonna wrap up there. I don't know if I said everything I wanted to, but guess what? We can. This isn't solved by a long shot, and my main thing is that Rooney Rule or no Rooney Rule. Will anything change? Usually these changes do not come from the top. So, as the author of this little opinion piece said, Mr. Freeman, and I'm gonna have to agree. It's not gonna change shit, but at least we know we need to change some shit, right? And we know what we need to change. And yeah, so that's gonna bring us to our post game. Look, I think I talked long enough. I hope y'all learned something. Yeah, we're gonna be doing the post game at the Waffle House. What the post game going to be? A little call to action. Go for a walk, touch some grass, y'all. Move your body before you lose your body. Yeah, because the best way to survive a gunshot wound is to be in very good shape. So prepare accordingly. We love you. Like, subscribe, share, blah, 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 blah.